Frank Spike sat behind his desk and looked out of the window. Outside cars moved slowly in the cold, gray rain. He looked down and the gray hairs of his arms. His round stomach pushed against the desk. This was his final month before he retired from the police. For Frank, his last day couldn't come too soon. Frank felt angry as he thought about the money he would get when he retired. It wasn't enough money to pay for a short holiday on the cold and rainy east coast of England. Where he lived, it certainly wouldn't pay for his dream holiday, a luxury round the world cruise. Just then Inspector Spencer came to Frank's desk. Spencer had perfect with teeth and he was always smiling. 3 years earlier, Spencer had been promoted. Now he was an inspector and the young Ike of 40. Frank wasn't so lucky. He had worked for the police for 40 years and he was still a sergeant. Frank knew he wasn't as handsome or as friendly as Spencer. Sorry, Inspector Spencer, but Frank was a better policeman. Frank has a nose for a crime and Spencer didn't that nose. Mean Frank could think like a criminal solve the most difficult crimes. As a result, the younger man often escaped for Frank's help. In fact, it was the only time Spencer spoke to him. "Hey Frank, can I ask you something?" asked Spencer. Frank wasn't surprised. "Do you know who the Babblingtons are?" Spencer continued. Everyone knew who the Babblingtons were. Ronald Babington was the super-rich owner of Babington Oil, and his wife Tabitha was a model. Together, they loved showing how rich they were. They often appeared in magazines like Hello, with their beautiful house and their collection of cars. Last month, Ronald has bought an enormous diamond for Tabitha. The diamond sat in a large lawn carpet. There was an alarm system to keep it safe. Spencer continued to explain. Someone told us about a plan to steal the Babington diamond. Frank tried to look as though he was surprised. Peggy, the owner of the dog and dog pub, heard 2 local criminals making the plan, Spencer said. She asked us to keep her name secret, of course. "Oh," Frank said. He waited for the question he knew would come. "So," Spencer asked, "what should we do? They haven't committed a crime yet." Frank looked out of the window. He remembered his retirement money. He didn't want to be alone in his retirement, but the money wouldn't even be enough to buy a cat. The sound of a car outside brought him back to the conversation with Spencer. He put his fingers together under his chin to look as if he was thinking. In fact, he was both now than no inspection Spencer expected. "Listen to this, the new clever way," said Frank. "Let them steal the diamond. If you catch them with the diamond, you can arrest them, no problem." "But Frank," said Spencer, "we would need the Babingtons to agree. And there are laws against trying to try criminals like that. You know, that's why you let them steal the diamond. Then ask if by chance you stop them for driving too fast as they escape. Search the car and find the diamond. You don't need to tell anyone that you knew about their plan, and they'll go to prison." Spencer was uncomfortable with the idea Frank was suggesting, but he knew it would work. Frank continued, "Of course, the officer who arrests them needs to be really up." Spencer understood too immediately. "Are you sure you want to do it, Frank? It could be dangerous. I'll take 2 young officers with me." "But yes, of course, I want to do it." "Why?" asked Spencer. "You're going to retire soon. Don't you want to take it easy?" "That's exactly what I want to do it," Frank replied. "My last case will be my best." A few years later, Frank visited the dog and dog pub and offered work. "Did you get it?" he asked Peggy as she had hit his drink. "Yes, I have now a perfect copy of the Babington diamond," she said. "I told Elaine Masker I was a big fan of the Babingtons. and I said that my boyfriend wouldn't buy me a diamond of my own. You need a new boyfriend, said Frank. If I were your boyfriend, I didn't buy you a diamond ring and take you on a long luxury cruise. Oh really? She said and smiled. Frank was sitting in the back seat of police car. The car was hidden in a small road next to the Babington house in the front seals with two strong young police officers. At 23:30, a message came in on the police radio. The types a man as told Howman had me outside the dog and dog pub. And 23:37, they go into a car. The men started the cars, drove away from the pub. At midnight, the dice passed the hidden police car on the way to the Babington house. At 12:30, the woman climbed over on the garden walls, and second hidden police team watched her climb over, while the man waited in the car. At 12:20, the woman climbed back over the wall. She had an excited smile on her face. She ran back to the car, smiling. The man waited for her jump in, and then they drove away. Almost immediately, they passed Frank's car. The young police officer in the driver's seat watched on the blue lights and followed them. Inside the car, the tubes were afraid. What are they doing? The man shouted. You said you turned off the alarms. Relax. I did, she replied. Remember, the police don't know what we be done. Just be a normal. We can walk away from with the diamond. The man stopped the car and opened his window. Is there a problem, officer? He asked. His face was red and shiny because he was so nervous. You were speeding. We'll need to give you a ticket. Can you but get out of the car, please? The man still looked nervous. One officer wrote the speeding ticket and the other stood close in case they ran away. Frank began to search the car. Hey, what's he doing? The woman said, but she knew the game was over. Frank breathed heavily as he started looking under the seats. He felt something smooth, hard and cold under the front passenger seat. The Babington diamond. He took the diamond and put it in the jacket pocket. At the same time, with his other hand, he took something very similar out of his trouser pocket. He held it up. Oh, you too, he said. You are under arrest for stealing the diamond. Will the young police officers arrest the criminals? Frank held the evidence up for everyone to see. In the light from the moon, it shone every color. Wow, said one of the young police officers. I've never seen a real diamond up close. Imagine if some gave you that as a present, said the other. Just imagine, Frank agreed. He carefully put into an evidence bag station he had it to Spencer. Spencer took it from him carefully as if it was a new baby. 5 weeks later, Frank was sitting in his new armchair and drinking a glass of the best champagne. His expensive new cat sat at his feet. He picked up the local newspaper the two thieves had got 6 years in prison. The photo in the newspaper was of the Pablingtons. They were standing next to the diamond inside its new